question to Nisargadatta Maharaj, which somebody asked, and he asked about ego. And Maharaj answered it as the ego is, he answered first as there is sense I am, which is aham, and then he replied there is feeling, there is sense I am identified with the body, which is ego. But then he goes, the questioner asks again a bit more in detail, and his reply is, ego is the nature of three gunas, and it's not a title, but it's just a sense I am prior to words. So basically, it's in its purest form, it is sense I am, and the very moment the words are put into it, it becomes identified with the body.
We understand all of this? Because what happened is that the questioner seems to be asking Sri Maharaj, he says, what is the ego? What is ego? And it seems Sri Maharaj, he already answered that really, ego really doesn't exist. The ego is really an idea. What he says is existing is that natural intuitive presence, the feeling I am, when we feel the feeling of existence in this body, the feeling I am, and it's not the ego. So it seems that the questioner was still pressing for more elucidation about it. And what Maharaj says is that in effect, because he said already there's no ego, and he explains it now by saying that there's only the three gunas, and I want to explain, because the term gunas mean like there are three sort of energetic qualities, if we can understand it. Three energetic qualities. When consciousness manifests, there are these three aspects or energetic qualities that arise in consciousness. And these qualities, one is sattva, or gunas they call, or sattva guna, is like the gunas, or the quality of purity, which is manifested in the form like if you have desire for truth, love for truth, deep meditative nature, this type of thing. It also carries across, even like with food, they say sattvic food, which is the food which I also call silent food. That this type of food is very good if you are very interested in meditation. It will not agitate thought activity, quiet food. Then there is Rajaguna, Rajasic quality, Rajaguna, which is the guna, or the energetic quality that manifests as passion and desire and sort of restlessness and exuberance, and this type of guna is another aspect of how consciousness can manifest energetically. And then there's another guna they call, which is the tamaguna, which is this guna is the base guna, very base guna, very resistant. The quality of this guna is very resistant, very strong identification with the body, very lethargic, full of resistance also. And what Sri Maharaj is saying is that these energetic qualities that have such distinct expressions, the interplay between these qualities is producing the particular expression of life in each form. And all these expressions are perceived in the I amness, the feeling I am, which functions as the witnessing or observing power, you see. So in this type of explanation, he is not included any space for a private ego. So therefore, what is ego? It says that when the I amness identifies with the body, because I am is not the body. It's not the body. It's the being, the spiritual being. But it tends to identify with the body, and then it believes I am the body. You see, I am the body. Then this I am the body feeling is really an expression of tamaguna actually. You see? Then I am the body, and then somehow also the conditioning that arose in a particular body, depending upon the circumstances of where you live, who your parents are, what religion surrounds you and so on, will determine also your orientation also. And then there are some aspects that may arise, maybe you find that there's strong energetic tendencies to be curious about life and want to conquer the world and so on. This is the expression of Raja Guna. That just happens. Nobody knows why it happened like that. And then sometimes in any one individual, there is one of these tendencies is predominating. You see? Sometimes there's more sattva in one aspect of expression, then another aspect, then it's more raja. But overall, there might be more a taste that you may say this person's got a sattvic sort of predisposition, a sattvic temperament. That sattvic temperament may also have rajasic inclinations and tamasic inclinations as well, but that the smell or the energetic fragrance of that being is more that it's in the ascendance of sattva guna. Another one has a sattvic quality, but somehow has predominant more raja quality, maybe very much to do with going out with life and getting things and always dreaming and projecting and pursuing. This is tendency of raja guna. And sometimes that guna is the ascending and the presiding guna. It's almost like that is the presiding guna. Another time, another temperament in another body, the predominant fragrance is tamaguna, which is a person who is very resistant, can't bother about anything, full of cynicism, full of resistance, believe that I am the body and so on. This is the predominance of tamaguna. Now, each of these, Maharaj say that in each form, there is an interplay of these guna is going on. And it's that interplay that is being presented as ego. When the I amness forgets its witnessing position and starts to identify with the body and the tendencies of the guna, then that, you say, arises as ego. I know many people probably won't understand this type of discussion. I don't know. You see? I'm going to give it an English, not an English, but in what English-speaking people, Western people maybe more understand. I will tell you one parable of Jesus that is a little bit like this also. Jesus told a story about the sower of seeds. It's like a farmer. He goes out to sow seeds. He has a bag of seeds. And it says, as he goes out sowing seeds, he's throwing the seeds. Some of the seeds, it falls on like the concrete. It falls on the concrete and immediately the birds come and eat them. You see? Now, as he's throwing the seeds, some seeds are falling on the stony places. Okay? Now, these seeds that fall in stony places, immediately they start to sprout. Okay? They start to sprout. But then when the sun comes up, because they don't have any really proper root, the sun is too much for them and they're gone. You see? Then he's still throwing some, and then some of these seeds, it falls on kind of amongst the weedy, which is not, you understand weeds. Some seeds, they fall amongst the weeds. These seeds, they grow, but together the weed is growing and the seeds are growing. But eventually the weeds overtake them and suffocate them and they don't go any further. And then some seeds actually fall on very good soil, very good ground, and they sprout and they grow and become trees and they bear good fruit and they become shelter for the animals, you see, and they are beautiful, you see. So, the meaning of this parable is that the sower of the seed, you see, is called like the prophet or saint, is also bringing a new view of the manifest world and the spiritual understanding. Some seeds fall on the concrete, meaning that these words sometimes they come to some people, but they don't have any chance to germinate. As they hear the word, the supreme word, but it's like the birds come and take those seeds quickly, meaning that they don't get a chance to even go inside. Is that something just distracts them and they forget this thing. It's finished. No germination. Some seeds, they're falling on stony places. Now these seeds, they sprout very quickly. When they sprout very quickly, they're growing, but as soon as the sun comes, they have no power, so they collapse. This is the example for those people. They hear the word, okay, and they respond. The seed is growing, the plant is growing. They respond, they feel, they're touched by the word or the presence of the being and the spiritual knowledge. But the sun comes up means that as soon as some adversity, some difficulties come, because they're not established inside the heart, they don't have any real root, the seed doesn't really live. It dies very quickly, withers in them. And then there are some seeds that are thrown and they fall in the weedy places, wild flowers, wild plants. They grow together. These are people who they get the word, they feel, they go to Satsang, they feel beautiful. Wow, they're growing. Spirituality is developing together, they're growing. But what happens is that the weeds also are growing, meaning that they're perhaps in some environment or some society or some company that somehow is challenging them all the time, you see. But because of the maybe the fashion of thinking is very negative, very rajasic, because of the way of thinking is very negative, and there's a lot of difficulties and challenges of living in a society where there's so many things to think about. These weeds, they suppress the plant and they also die. They don't germinate into awakening, into enlightenment, you see. But some seeds, you say, they throw and they fall into good ground. And then they continue, they grow. Nothing can stop them, you see. Rain cannot stop them. Sun cannot stop them. You see, like this. Animals cannot stop them. They're growing and they become like powerful trees. And when they come to full maturity, all the beings can sit under their shade. They give fruit and flower, and everyone is happy with these ones. These are those beings who come to Satsang, and they feel the truth happen inside their heart, and they respond to it. And nothing, no adversity, no body, no belief system, no politics, no hardship can stop them, because they've really found the most high thing. And so they get challenged, but they don't fall. And eventually they become the Buddhas. They are the Buddhas, you see. Now, when I was growing up, I heard this parable when I was a child, because I grew up with this in Christian country. And my love for Jesus was, everyone loved Jesus, no? I used to feel that these were different types of people. That was my mind. It's a different type of person, you see. The ones that fall by the stones, the ones that fall on the concrete, the ones that fall in the weeds, and the one that fall in a good side, different type of person. But then it became more clear that sometimes it is the same person. Sometimes it is the same person, but at different stages in their life. You see, at one time they hear the truth, but it didn't. They were in the wrong company, and they didn't assimilate that truth in the heart. They were easily distracted and they forgot about it. Or they got into some trouble, or they couldn't afford, they had no money, couldn't pay the rent, and it was too much on the mind, and all of this didn't get a chance to germinate. But there comes a time, even for the same person, that everything is happening completely smoothly. Nothing can stop them. It's your time. It's your time. It's your Buddha moment, you see. Nothing's going to stop you. So even if you lose a member of your family, if you lost your job, you got no money, you become sick, none of these things can stop them, you see. Nothing can stop them. Then this one is, they say, this one will reveal the Buddha face, the Christ consciousness, same thing. You see. So this is what, when this one realize who he is, or she is, or it is, when they realize their true nature, no? They see that all the other things, all the other phases of existence they were all dream. But they will only know this when they wake up. While they're dreaming, they don't know it. When you're in the dream, everything feels real. Only when you wake up, you realize, oh, it was a dream. Then you realize everything is dream. But while you're in the dream, if they tell you it's a dream, you will say, yeah, it's all a dream, but actually you're still in the dream. You're still a customer of the dream. You can't come out. You see. So this is what Sri Maharaj was trying to convey.
Is these three quality, they are real quality of consciousness arising, or is a way of the mind to describe them? I mean,
okay, let me put it another way. We look at the world, what we call the world. For each one, the world is a bit different. I say there's one earth, but there are millions of worlds. 6.5 billion worlds for the human world. And so many different species, all of them are projecting the world according to their temperament, their psychological ability, their consciousness ability. They are perceiving the world. Because a mosquito is also looking at the world, but he's not looking at the world like a human being. He has eyes also, but he's not seeing Christmas tree, not seeing, or he doesn't know it's bank holiday. They're a completely different world. All these species have their own world. This is their world also. The worm, this is his world also. The giraffe, this is his world also. The monkey, this is his world. The bird, this is their world. The human being, this is his world. You see? I mean, and in the human world, there are billions and billions of perspectives of looking at it. So are we looking at one world? No. Each one is looking at the world through their conditioning, through the influence, some influences which are untraceable. We don't know how we come to be perceiving like we perceive, you see. Each one is looking through a unique binoculars at the world. Like this, depending upon your mental, emotional conditioning, your religious conditioning, social conditioning, all of these conditioning shape the way that you perceive this world. If you have the feeling, I am this body, then already you are perceiving the world on a very limited way. And you may, even in the world of limitation, based upon all the beings who have the feeling, I am the body, that world is so diverse. We cannot meet. Everyone has a different idea of what is their ideal, what is the heaven for them, what is the hell for them, you see. As you begin to somehow discover you are the consciousness and not just the person, not just the form, but you are the witness of the form and the senses of time and relationship, all these things, then the world becomes much more subtle and the game changes. The game of perception changes. It becomes more subtle, more beautiful, more deep. You begin to see on levels that most people they can't see. They are living still as flesh and blood. So they're living in a flesh and blood world. But now you're living in a more intuitive world. You're seeing that, wow, their energy is moving and somehow understanding in a deeper way. And more refined your consciousness become. Then you are also disappearing as a private entity. Your whole sense of self-perception is changing, and you're not anymore one citizen among 6.5 billion other citizens. It's more that you're the seer, and all these worlds and all these beings are arising in you because you're consciousness. You're not just a form. And all of this is just a change of concept, a twist of consciousness. Changes the entire world and the way it feels for you. So we're not just looking on an objective world, solid matter. It's not like this. We are looking through so many filters you are looking through. But for the Jnani, none of it really matters because they know all of it is dream. All of it is dream. Even now, the way in which I feel inside my body in this is also dream. My greater being is housing all of these impressions. They are arising in me, but they don't create any disturbance because I know myself. I'm not identifying with the movement. I can perceive the movement, but I have no judgment against the movement. I have no cynicism against the movement, because this movement is also my movement also. You see? And because knowing myself, and the nature of knowing yourself is that you love yourself. You have a natural appreciation for your own existence. And naturally, if you know yourself through love and through wisdom, then you don't want to create any conflict with any aspect of yourself. So you are blessing every aspect of yourself to move and to flow in harmony, you see, naturally. And this is compassion and this is wisdom, you know. So the world, we speak, everybody speak the world, the world. The world is a good place, the world is a beautiful place, the world is a miracle, the world is a bad news, everybody, you know. And each of those views we have, those views are not consistent. Sometimes they change. Maybe you feel I'm living in a beautiful world. Then you lose one leg and it becomes this terrible world. You can't wait. You see? And yet there are some people in this world who there are some beings, I just use this example very, very casually and very spontaneously, but there are some beings who have a strong attraction to remove their legs or remove an arm. It's like it gives them a tremendous pleasure. You know that there are people like this. Yeah, they want to cut off one limb. They want to be an amputee. It's like an ambition. You know, they feel strongly, I want to cut off this leg. And they go and cut off the leg because somehow some power drives them to do these things. And then when they have it done, they're very happy. So we cannot understand the complexity of this world. There are so many layers of it: the psychological, the emotional, the psychic, the mental, the causal sheaths of looking and viewing this world. So anybody who wants to understand this, I say, forget about it. Forget about it. You'll be lost in it. First, find out who you are. This is the master key. And this master key will open every lock. But you must find out who you are. When you find out who you are, you don't want to open anything. Everything is automatically open to you. In a sense, you see. But you're not interested in this. God doesn't know any locked doors. Doesn't know any secrets. For whom is the secret, you see? So I don't know who is going to understand these things. I'm sure we, of course, because it is in us, you know. This is not something you're going to go learn at university. You see?
Normally when we talk about the states, we have waking, deep sleep and dreaming state. But Maharaj have completely eliminated the dreaming state, and he is saying there is waking, deep sleep and the knowingness. And what knowingness appears as an understanding is the sense I am. So basically the I amness, the waking and the sleeping are the three states appearing itself in the I amness.
Yes.
Because somehow there is a feeling of knowing of the knowledge. So that's the state of knowingness in which basically is I amness. The Satsang is appearing in I amness and is being understood in I amness.
Maybe Maharaj eliminated the dreaming state
because
he feels that the waking state is not different.
Yeah, it
embodies about is a kind of another form of dreaming also. It's another form of dreaming also.
Yeah.
You see, so he doesn't want to make a difference between waking state and dreaming state, because if you make a difference between waking state and dreaming state, then you will think that okay, dreaming state is dreaming state, waking state is real. But he's saying no, waking state is also dreaming. Actually, is another way you can put it, meaning that there is still the identification leading to the sense that okay, there are even that there are differences. You see, you have to remember that the level that a jnani speaks will be changing according to who he's speaking with.
Yeah.
One moment he was speaking bread and butter because you are bread and butter mentality.
Yeah.
Another one he's speaking about Parabrahman, and then people in Parabrahman, we don't even know what Brahman is. You know, he's speaking Parabrahman. Then he also tell you Parabrahman is also a concept. And then some people start to jump off bridges and stuff because they think, he takes everything away from us, and you see like this. So it just depends, he will move spontaneously to the level that is needed for conversing in any moment. We are just to use these words and to intuitively find the tune. They're resonating on a certain level, be in that resonance, and let that resonance do what it has to do. Don't try and drink it in mentally. And this is why I say don't make tattoos out of any teaching, because all of it is liquid. It's not fixed. Nothing is fixed, you see. It's only appropriate in a moment, and then it disappears, and when it's needed again it shows up and disappears.
Mooji, when you told the Jesus story, it's created a fear in me. Even
the story about Jesus and the throwing of the seeds and this thing, okay.
Yeah, something will fall into the weeds.
Some, yeah.
So do I need to take care of my surroundings, the relationship with different people at this moment? Still everything is getting clear for me. So it creates a sense of fear for me.
I have taken you out of all of those things. You are not the sower of seed. You are not even the one who is being sown anymore. I point you already that you stay as the awareness, you see. It's in awareness that this particular parable and any other parable is spoken in the awareness, it is understood in the awareness, and it will be forgotten in the awareness. You are the awareness. That's all you have to remember, that you are the awareness. If you are the awareness, there's nothing more you have to do, you see. You will only have to start to do something if you start to identify as being a doer. You see? Then you have to think, if I'm a doer, then I have to make sure I'm doing the right thing. I'm living in the right place. I'm talking to the right people. But the Jnani can go anywhere, you see. He can go into hell for lunch and then come back. Bless everybody, including the devil. Bless you. And then he can come back untouched. You see. But the ordinary person, I remember one story of Drukpa Kunley, they call him the divine madman. This is a Lama from Tibet. And he was a bit of a crazy wise man. No? Many people love this story of him. But sometimes he was speaking to some students, and he tell them, don't do this. And they say, but you do it. And he says, yeah, what is permissible for me will be harmful for you. You see? Why? Because as yet their consciousness not resolved itself, you see, in the heart. They're still thinking, they're still a bread and butter consciousness, fish and chip consciousness, flesh and blood consciousness. They're thinking of themselves as persons. So it says, better you don't go there because you'll get into trouble. But I can go anywhere. I can't get into trouble. You see? And then if you have a political mind, you say, well, he's making a difference between him and me, as though there's a difference. Yeah, there's a world of difference. There's a world of difference. His consciousness is very subtle. You know, Drukpa Kunley also made love to his mother, and no sin. You can understand these things. Also, he did many things people think outrageous. He was like that because at the time when he manifested, in those days in Tibet, there was a lot of run by, priests, and they were very, 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 very religious and very ceremonious, but full of lot of nastiness underneath what you weren't seeing. They were wearing gold. We lift up the gold, look, very nasty, not good. Okay? So he came as a challenge to that type of hypocrisy, you see. And so his manifestation, consciousness manifests this Lama, who did everything that was conventionally terrible to do. His actions, you see. And yet no one could hide his divinity. One time he was in the mountains, there lying around, kind of like, drinking, jung, this wine and getting very drunk. And then one pilgrim was on his horse going to Lhasa, I think, to go and see the great Lama, And this man had spent a long time preparing this manuscript beautifully, preparing manuscript beautifully as a present to this High Lama. So on his way, he encountered Drukpa Kunley. And Drukpa Kunley said, pilgrim, where are you going? I'm going to see the great Lama in Lhasa, you see. And what have you got for him? Because it was traditional that they bring something. I made this beautiful scroll, and can I see it? So he showed him the scroll. Very good. Roll it down on the floor, take a look. Very, very good. And when the man was looking together, he started to pee all over it, peeing all over this. The man go, what are you doing? You crazy madman! He was, no, what have you done? Look what you've done. All the ink was bled all over the place, all terrible. The man was completely heartbroken. He was trying to chase Drukpa Kunley. Then he rolled up. He was terrible, no? But he continued on his journey to Lhasa. And when he came in front of the great Lama, he was saying, sir, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here. And I made this beautiful present to you. But on the way, I met this madman. He peed all over it. So the Lama said, what happened? What kind of madman is this? I don't know. He's sort of some the Lama, crazy Lama. Can I see? No, sir, you'll be so disappointed. I'm sorry. They opened it up, and it was all covered. Wherever he peed, it became gold. It was all gold. Everything gold, you see. So he was always behaving like this to somehow challenge and confront this kind of hypocrisy, in very strong overindulgence in grand behavior, religious behavior, but underneath there wasn't the heart that was true there. So these things who will, not many people can appreciate, because they think that, but how can anybody behave like this? How can that be it challenges your notion of a wise person or of a saint. One time in another story, he was going someplace and he had visited this family who had a child who was sick. They had a young child just sick, and he was passing. They said, please help me, Lama, help me. What's the problem? He said. So they said, my child, this child is sick. My wife has been pregnant 4 or 5 times. And every time she gets pregnant, she loses the child. And now we have this one child. It's the only one that's born. And now he's sick, look like he's dying, you see. So Drukpa Kunley went and said, show me the baby. So they went there and she looked at the baby. Then this is the baby. This is the baby. He said, this is the baby? He said, yeah, this is my baby. Our baby, please help, please help. So Drukpa Kunley grabbed the baby by the hair and pulled it out of the cot and started running down to the river with the baby, dangling like this. And the people, no, they thought, oh my God, this man is a complete lunatic, running with the baby. He takes the baby and throws it in the river. The baby in the river. When he threw the baby in the river, the people screaming, what have you done? Oh my God. The baby dropped in the river and immediately got transformed into a black dog and started to pedal. And the dog was saying, Drukpa Kunley, you have no compassion. Why you are like this? So he said, and Kunley said to them, you have been cursed with having this type of child. And this one, I know this one. This is some demon, and from now I've got rid of him now, you see. So now you're going to have next year at this time you will have a child, lovely child, and then after next year, this month, you have another child. And they were completely, they didn't know, they were completely in a mess. But everything he said came true. So this is kind of crazy behavior. Sometimes consciousness manifests like this. We all expect everybody's going to be that Dalai Lama, and then he comes, he does these crazy things. But they could not deny his greatness. And also his songs, he sang songs. He always make a joke of himself. But through making a joke of himself, he was revealing the nature of all the people. So they could look at him and laugh, but they were seeing themselves in that. It's completely free being. I don't know why I got to tell you this thing about Drukpa Kunley now.
Just to come back to this dreaming and waking state, I really understand this, that we can compare these two states. They're finally the same when you read before. Just a small example. Last night I was dreaming. Everything was different in my life. Different glasses. Some people of my family died already. They was alive. I was totally believing it, and it was the truth for me. It was a very weird dream, strange and stuff, but I was totally believing it.
Yes.
Just the thing is, I woke up from that dream because I had enough sleep, you know. So can we compare this waking like this also? Do we wake up of this dream when we slept enough?
Who will decide what is enough? We can't explain these things, you see, because we have no references to compare them. Why it is one person is drawn to this so strongly. You could be twins. You have a twin, and one is oriented towards a certain way, but one of them is completely drawn to spirituality. Who can explain why? Maybe we have this example now. Some I was telling recently about Siamese twins. They are joined at the head, but they are completely different individuals. Even one brain, but unique thinking. You see, it's very it's impossible to explain these things. But one thing is possible: is to find out who you are. Everybody can know. You find out who you are. And so many things are going to come spontaneously. Waves of illumination will come. Because sometimes we think that it's more important to find out about everything else except who you are. The Sri Ramana Maharshi, he put it away like this. He says, if you learn about everything and you don't know who you are, then all your knowledge is only studied ignorance. It's like you're studying ignorance. The priority for any wise person is to discover who they are. Who am I who is perceiving all of this? Or something is complaining inside this body. Oh, my life is so difficult. Who is speaking these words? But nobody asks this question, you see. We have to be, some questions you have to be taught to ask. And this is something for me, this is very, very beautiful. And I remember one friend, she's from Italy. She brought her mother here. They came on holiday from Italy. Her mother and her aunt. She said, I want them to come and see you. And they walked a long way from Brockwell Park. They came here, you know. And they came here and sat in this room, in fact. And for some reason, when they came here, they started laughing. The mother and the auntie, they started laughing. And it was funny because they were laughing, but didn't know why they were laughing. They didn't know why they were laughing. Even they're looking at each other like this, because I don't know why they just feel so happy. They're laughing, you know. And then this girl who was here also, she was a little bit surprised, you know, how they're laughing so much. They're just laughing, you know. Then finally the mother spoke and she said this. She said, I'm very busy in my life, you know. She said like this. She said, I'm very, very busy in my life. I have to go to work, and then I go to work. I have 2 jobs. I have to come home and I have to cook. Look after the house. My husband is not doing anything. Okay? I have very little time, you see. I want to ask you, what is the best way of spending this little time for myself? Can you imagine? I was so touched. I cried actually. It was tear. I couldn't stop it. And I said, my God, I never see anyone ask a question like this. You see? That I am busy in my life. I have only a little time for myself. What is the best way of spending this little time? I felt it was so powerful, so open, you know. I said, you must find out who you are. This little time is enough to find out who you are, you see. And then somehow you'll be released from all these troubles. You're going to be released from them. And somebody else asked, you know, what is the best question to ask? You see, I said, who told you to talk like that? I never hear anybody talk like this. Somebody asks, what is the best question to ask if I want to be free? What is the best question? You see. So these type of people is themselves a consciousness manifesting them, the questions to them to ask like this. And it's such a joy to even to hear this type of question and to meet this type of presence, who is speaking like that. They're not come with any arrogance. They don't have any opinion. They're not telling you, I believe. They don't say nothing at all. They just ask me, what should I know? With my life, what should I know? What question I must ask? How must I spend this time? I have maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes in a day that is just for me. How is the best way of using this time? It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I've been wanting to ask this question for a while now, and I don't know why.
It's okay.
I just want you to tell me if you have one instruction, one piece of guidance, one teaching to tell me now, what would it be?
I can only tell you the same thing. Be clear about who you're not, or be clear about who you are. That's all. Just be clear about it. And then contemplate your clarity. This is one medicine for everybody. Be clear about what is, because everyone I hear speaking, I hear ignorance. I see you have not got it. You have not yet understood what you are. We are still thinking that you are just this person who is the daughter of this person, or the husband of this person, or you're a father, or you're an employee. You're still speaking, you see, with your labels. But they came after you. They're not original to you. They came later. You have to go back to your labelless self. That didn't belong. There's a time you don't belong to nobody. And that's what Shiva say. I don't belong to anybody and nobody belongs to me. I don't come, I don't go. It's to know this, to have this knowledge, you see. The mind wants to ask, yes, but when I get this knowledge, what? I said, please, shut up. Melt into this knowledge, into that seeing. Be quiet. Illumination come inside you, and you come to know things that nobody taught you. How you can know something nobody taught you? Because it's inside your being already. You see? Just be quiet, you see. It's like I show you a mirror and you ask me, how does it work? I said, the mirror doesn't work, actually. Of all the things, the one thing that doesn't work is a mirror. It will reflect the whole world, but it never gets tired. But whose face do you see in this mirror? So just this thing. Whenever you say I, whenever the words come, I, look at I. Don't look at what I look at. You see, everyone is talking about what I sees, what I think, what I want, what I imagine, what happened to I yesterday, what might happen to I tomorrow. Everybody is looking at the storybook of I and telling the story. You see? But I says, but you can keep on doing this for eternity. Everybody's looking at what I is looking at. But now it's time to look at I itself. Who is I? When something says I, it should be checked out. What is this I that feels lost, that feels tired, that feels pain? What is this I? Can it be found? You have to start there. And if anybody catch this I, please introduce this I to me. I've been waiting to meet the I. Yes. Then some people say, nothing's found. Nothing's found there. I said, very, very good, very good. then my last question, who is making this discovery?
Just recently I was feeling the witnessing, and what was arising is, who are you? I will not say I am witnessing. There is witnessing.
But what is doing the witnessing, you see? And then you have to push further back, something pushes further back. Who is the witness, you see? Even the casual witness, the one who is not interested in witnessing at all. Who doesn't know interest or not interest? In whose presence witnessing is taking place, and witnessing of witnessing is taking place. What dwells there, you see? What is that? And answers won't do. With this question, introspection must take place, and then what will come out of this introspection? Even as you're looking, the seeker is vanishing in the discovery. Then who's going to come back to say, I got it? In the moment when that discovery happened, no more seeker is there. That independence is lost inside. Even if something says, I got it, that I got it is seen now. It's nothing. Nobody's saying I got it. It's just the intelligence of the being is confirming, yes, no more trouble here. That's all. How beautiful. For a while, some sort of sensory intelligence is tracing the movements of this body, the movements of the senses, the movement of attention, the movement of thought, the movement of feeling. Everything is sort of like tactile, kind of tactile, a subtle kind of tension that is creating this kind of act of perception. And behind this is a completely non-doing space, non-identity space. So there is a sense of I. But there's an awareness of sense of I. To whom does that awareness of the sense of I belong? It is just there, you see. At a certain stage, we must not scratch our head, You just have to go into a kind of contemplation or meditation with it. And the best is to start with that natural feeling of existence. Because that's the one thing you are certain about. If we can be certain about anything, it's the feeling of existence. So you start with what you are sure about. What you're not sure about, you leave it. You stay only with that taste of existence. Then you can begin your question there. What is it that exists? And what is aware of that existence? 2 questions. Boom, no more. What is it that exists? And what is it that's aware of the existence?
This sense of presence, especially by being with you, I can very easily going back there, feeling it.
Actually, what happens is everybody feels a sense of presence, but what is different is that you begin to feel the sense of presence without association. That's different. Everybody have this sense of presence, you see. Huh? But the difference with the satsang is you're beginning to feel the unassociated presence. The presence just by itself, which is not searching for a context to be in. It's not in association with any person or any
This is not
belief.
personal,
Yeah. There's
it.
just that resonance, that shining by itself. Taste of existence in the body.
Contemplating this is like it expands, and it's beautiful. Just any thought.
Contemplating this is just staying as this without letting it contact anything else.
Yeah, this
consciously.
is what I wanted to say. That
Yeah.
many things coming, and the attention is.
Yeah.
And this attention is stop the expansion somehow.
Yes, it appears to. It appears to arrest the expansion, but even expansiveness is seen and felt, you see. But for this, this is if there's a place to put the word practice, is here. If I want to insert the word practice, it's here. Because why? There's a habit or a kind of a reflex for the attention to go back into identification. Because that's where the consciousness has been hanging out. It's familiar with this identification. So it very easily gets back into a place of identification and associating with phenomena. So it has to be a practice initially to bring the attention back into neutrality. And you feel that there's a strong magnet pulling the attention to go out and to play. Come shopping, come shopping. And so for a bit, there has to be a sort of intention to hold the attention into emptiness. Don't let it go out. You see, it's like an untrained dog. You know, you take it out on a lead, and then it sees some other dogs. It's gone. You have to hold him back. You know, and he's resisting. But the more you do it, he learns to obey the pull and just keep quiet. Next time he sees some dogs, just the head go, but the body stay. Then you say, hey, like this, no? And the next time dogs come, the head keeps still, but the eyes go. Then you say, oi. Then after this, dogs pass, the eyes don't go, nothing go. Then you have perfect transcendence, you see. Not because the other dogs are bad or not because of this, but that you have to conquer yourself. Because the attention wants to go out, wants to connect, have to satisfy itself. And when it goes and touches this, it has a momentary satisfaction. But out of this momentary satisfaction, some agitation stays inside, multiply. So arresting that power, bringing it back. Initially, it feels unbearable and it feels like claustrophobic. But it's almost because you're reversing the glove, you know. This is what's happening. You're bringing the attention back to stay in the source. It wants to go out to contact the object of interest. But you're keeping it in the source. Not because anything is bad, but simply by going out, it doesn't lose its power. You stay here. When you stay here, then everything is like it's very strong discipline, but after a while, this becomes natural and everything, all the world is released, everything is released. No bondage. Then it can go anywhere. But when it has to be here, it can be here. It doesn't run. If you want to say like this.
Mooji, sometimes feel, I don't know, fear or sense, or my consciousness is very expanded.
Very expanded.
And I'm outside, go walking, like my consciousness, like the same, like a sky, big, very big,
yeah.
And then like I don't know, I'm looking everything, or
yes.
I don't know, looking or feeling or what say, don't know, but only not me, not only personal me,
yeah.
Only very expand.
Yes, yes.
And very happy.
Yeah.
Very happy, and then so I don't know what to say, but like a same sky, only I say same sky. If some crowd or something, but feel like sky.
It's natural that that once you are beginning to remember and recognize that you're not just the body-mind, then somehow something opens up, is freed. You see? Because the body-mind is a kind of fear, it's a constriction. And so now you say there is a seeing and feeling, you don't know the difference. Well, actually seeing and feeling are the same. They become one. You see? It's like you can say you can see through your smell, and you can speak through your listening. Your eyes and your mouth, same thing. Something knows this thing, because everything is perceiving, one perceiving. So this is called seeing. Seeing is not just seeing. This seeing is perceiving.
Different.
So perceiving and feeling everything open, and there is no sense that you are in any particular point that you can find. There is just, you are that expansiveness. Still the body is there, and there's a sort of a sense of a kind of focus of energy around the body, but you're behind this, in your perceiving center, you don't seem to have any form at the same time. So of course it's a great joy. It's a great joy to be freed from the limitation of feeling I am this person. You see? And naturally something feels expansive, but also the feeling of a person comes back, and it's okay now, because you see that it's just a sort of costume, a kind of play. And memory also is there, and memory is the costume. Actually, memory is the costume. It puts a context, and it puts context is a good word actually. And so that which is universal is be able to appreciate its contextual expressions. It's okay, but you're still bigger than this.
Would you say this sense of expansion is the attention is expense, the seeing is expansion, but there is no expansion.
Yes, it's a sort of subtle, you may call metaphysical or intuitive sense, because we're not talking about objects here. You say this balloon is expanding, you see, but it's a sense. It's a subtle sense, and we have no way of measuring it. It's just what it means. Something expanding is mean that there is no more the limited idea that I'm just a person, and so something opens up. It's like something opens up, and no one can describe precisely what is scientifically what it is. They may try, but it's much more of an intuitive. It's a heart quality thing that you cannot say to everybody this. Like I am big like this guy. You really? Maybe you'll fit into our hospital very well with that bigness. They don't understand this thing. Only some people understand. Of course, we know what is happening to you. Is that this is the feeling when your mind is returning to its universal source, universality about it. You see, and then you're not in just a fixed position. You will listen to different people speak, and you can somehow feel affinity with a different perspective. You say, yes, I can see how it looks like this. Of course, it looks like this. You're not solid, so you're not fighting. You can just understand through affinity how a perspective can look. You say, yes, it looks like this, but have you considered like this? And yes, to broaden the viewpoint, which is the correct view of the world, of this room. This position is nice, but also looking from that position is also nice. Where is the front of the room and the back of the room? It's just your perception. No? All views are possible. Even from the ceiling looking down is possible, but we don't get this view very much. Easy. So which is the right view? There's no right view. Just don't try and figure out anything. Don't try to understand anything. Just keep on disappearing. Keep on disappearing is better than keep on knowing more and more. This is not good. Don't know anything at all. The real knowledge is not knowing anything at all. While the others are studying, trying to get more and more, you are vanishing. You are vanishing. You are much better. You are vanishing nicely in the corner. Nobody notices you. The other ones are growing big head. Oh yes, we are learning so much. But you are knowing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But when you speak, you blow them away because they are coming from the past. You just vanish inside yourself. Let them expand inside themselves. You vanish in terms of knowledge. This is a very sweet feeling. I tell you, it's the sweetest feeling. When you don't have to do nothing. I don't have to be clever. I don't have to be good. You see? It's not that I have to be good. Actually, it's okay up to a point, but it's still a kind of arrogance, and it's still based upon ignorance, you see. Huh? Don't try to be bad, don't try to even be good. Just know yourself, find out who you are. Because you can never be good enough to be only consciousness. And you cannot be bad enough to be excluded from consciousness. So don't waste time with these things. You see? In the end, what is left, whatever is left, you cannot keep. There's no keeper of that. Whatever can be taken, let it be taken. Then what is left, nobody can take. Nobody can own it. Yeah. You be there, be one with that is enough. I know these type of words that don't have corporate appeal, but when you listen inside the heart knows the wealth of that. It knows the wealth of that. There's nothing can be more wealthy than contentment. Contentment means I don't want anything. I don't need anything more. At a certain point, if you come for freedom, don't keep looking back. And don't keep looking forward. Just remove all your clothes so you can get through that. That only nakedness will allow you in. You go in first completely. Because there's a lot of things telling you to wait, giving you reasons why you should not go yet. You go home into yourself. If you recognize your calling, you go in. Go in. Maybe I don't explain it in the correct way. I don't know. Maybe people develop fear out of what I say, but I don't feel any. I have no fear about it. I went through a period myself when there was a feeling of fear. Fear. You do get tested, somehow, that you're going to lose things. You're going to lose your sense of your control, your power to earn your own living. You're going to lose your dreams. You're going to lose your sexuality. You're going to lose. The mind presents a lot of fearful images to the human intellect and human mind mentality. So it takes something. You have to be touched already. You cannot just go there because you're smart. You have to be touched, and that touching gives you the strength. The spiritual strength. And to move with grace, to say yes to everything, to say yes to this. If you're going to look with your eyes and your mind and look with the past, you will see a lot of fearful images. But just go inside yourself. Go first inside before you go outside. Actually, be inside, then go outside. If you want to call it like this, find out who you are. Finding out who you are is not in conflict with activity or with the world. It's not, in fact. It shines benevolence on the world. But the individual mind is always thinking of an individual life, and it's locked into a very small, a very narrow viewpoint. And don't listen to what people say. They will tell you, "Oh, you're very responsible. You know, you should be doing something to contribute something to this world." Nobody contributes anything more to this world than somebody who is free, actually. Not free because they hate the world and they're trying to escape from the world in that way, but to escape from ignorance and from ignorance, actually, arrogance, fear, judgment, to be free of these. Yes, be free of it completely. I don't know. I did not live a boring life, actually. Up until the point I came to see what I saw. I wasn't living a boring life, you know, to say, "Oh yeah, I'm so glad because my life was boring." No, in a way, I felt my life was fun, no? In a sense, no? There were a lot of things you enjoy, try, but not this incomparable being. Yeah, nothing can compare with that. And so from then, I'm telling everybody, come jump in. jump in. Yeah. Stop jumping and jump in. And some can listen and are pulled by this power, and others they're not the time, and this is okay. It's a big joke. I don't like to use the word joke, you know, because people misunderstand, like ha 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 ha. It's not just a ha 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 joke. It can be a little bit, but it's crazy. You think it's so obvious what I'm speaking and what actually my master has spoken, these things, and yet nobody can see. We're completely blind to it. You know, it's like your eyes are here, but it's like the ignorance is the thickest glasses you can wear.
I would say something no inside, you know?
Uh-huh. Something knows inside.
Something
yes, but it just flashes up sometimes, and maybe, I don't know.
We copyright to the...
I don't know what it is, actually. That is the beauty. It is the beauty in a sense. I don't know what it is. Because sometimes when you think you know something, you know, it starts to die inside you. A part of your mind goes, "Yeah, I understand that," you know, and it dies inside. The most alive thing is to have the feeling, "I don't know. This is alive." When you think "I know," is this death, is in a sense. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Yeah. I don't know anything at all. I don't know. Who are you? I don't know anything at all. What's the world about? I don't know nothing about it. What are you doing here? I don't know. Where are you going in your life? I don't know nothing. What do you want out of existence? Oh, nothing at all. And there's immense space and immense freedom. If it's not coming out of some depressed mentality, if it's coming just from a place of seeing, what you're saying is all is well, actually. I don't know how it comes to be all is well, but all is well. some of the highest, deepest, most fulfilling joy in existence that has been tasted in this body has been tasted like sitting in my bedroom on the floor in a corner. Nothing to do with anything at all. You see, nothing to do with anything, with going somewhere, getting anything. Just this inexplicable being. This inexplicable being, unfathomable, unending. That each time you look again at this kind of world from the old view or the old mind, it just seems completely crazy. And yet it's nothing at all. There will come a time when you follow this advice of mine, and you go into any library in any place, and you can look right through all the books, and you'll laugh. You will laugh. You will laugh. Say, my God, amazing! Look at this. You'll laugh. Say, my God, you miss it. You all miss it. You miss it. You miss it. Big temples, and it's great. It's very nice, but you miss the point. You miss it. You miss it. And yet at the same time, not necessarily. You can be sitting on a gold-plated throne and you don't miss it. You understand it. You can be sitting on a throne made of gold and people are carrying you around and you don't care about any of it, and you know this has to be the same way, and you didn't miss it. Because you cannot say it is like this only. That only the naked avadut is the only true version. No, you could have all the things in the world, and you still know it, and it matters nothing at all. All these things are nothing at all. It doesn't matter. The beingness, the consciousness is producing all this theater, all this play. See? When I speak, I kind of I want to clear up everything today. Don't leave something to tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't have, just speak and try and be as total in our way of pointing as possible, so that you don't have nothing left over, nothing being kept aside. If you are able to, they say if you go to the ocean with a cup this size, you'll get that much cup of ocean. With one of this size, you get that cup of ocean. If you come with this size, you get that much ocean. It's up to you. These measurements, I'm talking about the degree of openness that there is there. But in another way, I can say forget all of this type of way of looking at it, and say at another moment I can say, well, if you are destined to find it like this, you see. And in another moment I can throw that away also and tell you, but you are this already. Let's find out what you think is in the way of this. That is more the highest truth. The highest truth is that you are that already. The lower truth is like you need to really be serious about getting this. That's a lower truth. You see? And a lower truth than this is that, you may not discover this in this lifetime. It's not helpful. But it can be a kind of truth in one kind of way. But I think the highest expression is to tell you are already this truth. But you are dreaming that you are not this. This is, for me, is freedom, you see. To tell you are this. Because this is not a kind of imagination. It's not telling you, listen, you try and imagine that. No, it says you are this already. 100%. There's never anything less than 100% of this. There cannot be 99% this. It can only be 100% this. But there is delusions that arise that takes our attention towards, some progressive path or an idea that we are our body minds and we are our thinking, and some people's thinking is better than others and so on. So that's also another layer that we can read life, and it will have the taste of that layer. But what would we have done if there weren't these Gyanis who came and told you, but you are already free? What would this world be like if there were not these sages who came and told you, but you are already the perfect? If everything you heard was, you're getting there, keep trying, one day, somewhere over the rainbow, and what would this world be like if there were not the sages who tell you, but there is already the freedom, there's the perfection, God is already perfectly here, you are that. Let's find out why you think you are not this. Let's look together. Let me show you, so that you can come to irrefutable conviction and proof that you cannot be anything other than this. This for me was the liberation for me. Even hearing this message, you see. Hearing these messages sometimes, some Buddhas just popped out. They popped out of ignorance. Just hearing this message, that you're already free. They just wanted just to hear this. But some they have to keep on hearing, and they don't believe. And no, I don't. How can it be? And what I must do? And then they're popping out of ignorance. It's true. More beings have awakened in this way than any other way. But I've been reminded, you are this already. Everything else that you're talking about is only memory. It's only some sort of vision, it's some projection, it's some ideation. All of these, it's conditioning, education. This is what you're perceiving, but you're not this. Because if you were the education, if you were these things, when they go, you would have gone as well. But you're here to watch them go. So who are you who is watching all of this? People go, oh wow. Wow, that's freaky what you're saying. Oh, who is here? What? So, yeah, steady yourself up, Who is watching all of this? Is it not you? Yeah, it's true. My God, man, this is deep. No, it's not deep. It's just true. Oh yeah, deep. Yeah. It's kind of true, yeah. But who can you be? Can you be the object that you're seeing? Can an object know itself? You see? Does the sun know it's shining? Or who is seeing all these things? I said, yeah, of course it's me, man. I'm the one seeing these things. Then who are you? The one who sees everything, even things that the naked eye can't see. You are seeing them through your feeling and through your subtle and intuitive perceptive powers. You are perceiving them. Who are you who see these things? Can you be seen? Wow, that's deep. No, it's not deep. Who is watching deep? And eventually, somehow, each thing is like slapping the face. Hello, wake up. Hello. And then, wow, what is this? What would the world be if this opportunity was not there? If this voice was not there to tell you are free? If everything was telling you one day, keep aspiring, practice more, come on, get moving. This is also an expression of consciousness, but it's not the highest. The highest is the one who tells you, you are imagining you need to do something to be what you are, but this is your imagination. You are already the perfect one. But don't take my words personally. You see, there cannot be freedom for the ego. There must be freedom from the ego. You're thinking like ego, but this is already a thought in you, and you're not this thought. You are the one who is aware of thought. Whoa, these things, they are like smelling salts under the nose of the beingness. It's kind of waking up like this. So I feel I feel it was my good fortune to come across this type of teaching, because maybe I've got a very short attention span, from growing up. I was never interested in any kind of philosophy or too much words and discussions. I was more interested in looking at comics, and pictures, looking at pictures, like pictures, drawing pictures. Words are not my thing. picture is my thing. So all these discussions about these things, I couldn't. Oh my God, no. My head hurts. No, stop. So how it comes that I could come and find out something like this? Because I don't have time for breakdancing spirituality. It has to be something straight. Yeah, understand? And then it's not, it's. Something must be there. If you want to, sometimes we go deeply. Sometimes I'm going deeply into the mechanism of the mind to expose, And then some people see, and then they start to, in a way, perpetuate this type of being in the mind, which is missing the point, overdoing it. Because the mind finds another way to live by pretending it's searching for itself. So all these things you have to overcome, because you have the power of the being. You are the power of the being to see through all these things. But if you start to fall in love with the images you see without knowing yourself, then you will suffer. If you know yourself first, you can fall in love with everything. You will not suffer, because you know everything is just your own self. But if you don't know yourself, you start to fall in love with things. It will suck you in. You are lost. Isn't it? Yeah, you're lost. You don't know who you are, and you're running after things which have no eternity in them. They're transient imagery, and we are falling in love. That is the idolatry. It's to fall in love with what is not real, what is not true. But if the idol reminds you of what is true, then this is already something beautiful.
Can I ask something? So you say that I am that.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not the personality. Because I can see the personality is a mess at some point.
Yes.
So I'm not the personality. And my belief in the personality makes it big sometimes, bigger than it needs to be. But it's a habit that just brings this personality, and sometimes I get caught into it and stuff. Like when in Satsang, sometimes it just feels less of a person. It feels so impersonal to be here, and it just listening to you, just something feels very awake.
Yes.
But maybe when I leave from here, then the mess of the personality comes back, and all its needs and all its stuff, right? So maybe before there was more of a depression about this, but it's not so much of a depression, but the more the you tell me that I am that, so why don't I see it? Or why don't I see it all the time? Or
you are seeing it. Sometimes when you're sleeping, somebody tried to wake you up. Arun, Arun, slowly you are coming into wakefulness. Each time you're called, something in the sleep is still hold something, like you are still held by a bit of sleep. But at the same time, something called you to this awakening somehow. And it doesn't matter if the attention is oscillating between the past and the, gradually you're coming to see, but I tell you, but don't pay attention or don't identify with this movement even, you see. Because it's natural, you're aware of it. And once you're aware that you're aware, you don't have to be identified with that. You can let it be. But if you think you must do something about that, then you'll identify. And then you'll feel caught up in, why can't I stay more here? Now it goes again, you see. Why can't I stay more here? Now it goes again, you see. But when you see from awareness that even this movement of going in and out is just a movement, what is watching is not going in and out. So you don't identify with this, then you're not feeling going in and out. And then somebody's, but can it be so simple? No, it can't be that simple at all. Is this what they're talking about? When Jesus told the story about the sower and the seeds, is this what he's talking about? I say yes. When Moses talked about, trusting God and, and standing there and the Red Sea opened and they walked through, and is this what this is all about? I say yes, actually it is. When Krishna was speaking to Arjuna on the battlefield and the Bhagavad Gita was expressed in this moment, was this what it was all about? I say completely, yes, it was about you. Where you put your attention, who you think you are, is creating all of these things. But how can it be? Because this is just so simple. This is, when I am conscious of myself as awareness, I have no problem with it. I don't see anything at all. My mind just stops. It has no power. But then somehow I go back to sleep in the mind and I start to be worried, oh no, this thing is bothering me, and But this is coming out of sleep. At some point, this will not really affect you anymore. It won't. You will find some days you'll have an argument with someone. Hey, what you doing? No. Inside, nothing happening. Still, the arguments seem to be playing, but inside, there's no acidity coming off this argument. It's like something is it's like a play. It's just like a play. Papaji told a beautiful story, I was looking at it, and he said that there's a theater, there's a play going on, no? There's a play going on, and the show is going on every day. Now, the owner of the theater is there, and he's there around, to make sure everything is going fine. So he knows the play. So one day now, one of the actors is sick and can't come. See? And so they're saying, but how can we do? The show cannot go on and everybody's coming to the door. Well, we need somebody to play this part. So the owner of the theater says, well, actually, I can go. If it's an emergency, tonight I can do for you. Because I know all the parts, I've been watching them. No? He said, but you can play the part of the servant. Yes, I can do. Let's try. And he goes, and then the king is saying to the servant, get out of here! Get out and go outside! And the servant, yes, my lord, yes, my lord. And this proprietor, the owner of the theater, is playing all the... But he still knows I'm the owner of this theater. You see. I am paying the wages of all these people, including the king, who in this role is telling me, go out. Go out. How dare you? Get out. Yes, sir. Yes. Right. So he plays all his part very well, knowing he's not this thing. And it's the same with you. Somehow your understanding comes, but I'm the awareness. But somehow it appears that there's a role being played. I'm being addressed as a father, as a friend, as an employee, as a teacher, as a disciple, all these things. But it's not really what I am. Still the role is being played. You cannot say, look, this is all a dream, don't call me father, I am consciousness. No, you play the role. Hello, my darling, how are you? Everything's fine? Okay. You need some pocket money today? Okay, I give some money today. You go. And hey, listen, you pay attention at class, okay? Okay, Dad. Okay, fine, go. But all these things you will speak, but in your heart, you're beyond all these things. You will know it. But nobody can snap a finger and say you should know it, because I'm not throwing magic powder in your face. You're coming into your own wakefulness very consciously, and it's beautiful like this. You see, the sleep is wearing off. You see, sleep is wearing off. Sleep is wearing off. It's not easy. They say for thousands of lifetimes, we're walking in some form or another. One time you were an insect. One time you were a monkey. One time a rabbit. One time you were a lion. One time giraffe. One time a bird. You one time so many things. And now you are here now. And all the conditioning was somehow evolving to a place of understanding. Some say it like this. You see, you're not a first time customer. You're going up in this, this is a costume party. And we are coming back in many different costumes. And now you're coming now without costume. You realize your real self in this life. You're having a chance to see. So a little bit amnesia come, and a little bit sometimes, these images from the past come. All these things that come. But gradually you're waking up from them, you see. But it doesn't matter what come after a while, there is still a constant seer behind all of them. It goes like this. Then I don't know what happened. At some point, something happened that even the effort to remember seemed like it's a concept. You're just this. The mind sometimes plays, but somehow it doesn't have that power. You don't try and work out the world, no. That interest goes as well. They're trying to figure out the world. What a big burden you've dropped. They're trying to figure out how the world works. You drop a big potato you dropped. Forget about it. And you find something, just a quiet beingness. There's just a quiet stillness within you. And it is very sweet. It's not your business to work out the world. At a certain point you don't see a world actually even. It doesn't register, you see. It's just like a shadow. It's like you're looking in a shadow, a world of shadows. The most profound is your beingness. You can't get out of your beingness. The beingness is there. But the images of the world, they're like a soup. It's not so distinct. You're not looking at the world as lots of little items coming together. The world becomes like a soup of sensations. Yes. Emptiness appearing in the form of a human being. Like inside is not holding on to any concept, not any belief. There's just that space and that sort of intelligence and that spiritual feeling. And everything is happening around, everything seems to be going on. But like you don't know anything about it. You don't know why this is there or why this, you don't have nothing about it. I don't think there are many people there so ready for that seeing. They have to evolve to that. Because in the mind see like you're really losing what is valuable, when in fact you're losing what is invaluable, what is not valuable. But the world think that you're losing what is valuable because they value all that stuff. But you are coming to see, but my God, I don't know anything at all. And yet the prize of peace and joy, freedom and light and love is all yours, completely. You who want nothing is getting everything. And the ones who are running after everything are struggling. And there's a beautiful, I think it's an hadith in Islam, where it said that when God made the world, He gave an order, command to the world. He says, "O world, serve those who serve me," meaning serve those who are open to truth, and make tired those who serve you, meaning make those tired who are turned towards the world. It's a beautiful thing, actually. And why? Because a curse? No. Because when you turn to the world, then you will be exhausted, and then you will then turn to the truth. First we turn to the world. Then we turn to the self. Then we turn to the world again. But it's different.
Mm-hmm.